Today we're continuing on with Module 5, Lesson 12, and your learning goal is I can measure to help me find the area of rectangles. Okay, so today, instead of the dimensions of the rectangles being given to you, you're going to have to measure to figure out what the length and what the width of the rectangles are. Once you know the length and the width of the rectangles, can you find its area? Yeah. You sure can. So remember, our learning goal today is we are measuring to find the area. So the directions tell you to measure each rectangle to the nearest quarter of an inch. So that could be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, or it'd be the 4/4, which is the whole, right? And then label the dimensions. And then it says to use an area model to find each area. I'm going to show you exactly what that means, okay? So take a look at number 1. Measure from top to bottom, which is what I've done for you. How many inches is it? It's exactly 2 and a what? 2.5. So you're going to label it like this, 2.5 inches. Now measure it, the top from right to left to right, and see exactly how many inches is it to the nearest quarter inch. How many inches is it with your ruler?
2 inches.
2 inches. So go ahead and label the dimensions, 2 inches, just like that. That takes care of labeling the dimensions. Now, it says to use an area model to help you find each area. Do you guys remember back when we learned area model to help us multiply fractions? That's exactly what we're doing here. We're going to separate it into the whole number part and the fraction part. So across the top, is there a whole number part and a fraction part? Or is it just a whole number? Whole number. What about down the side? Is there a whole number part and a fraction part?
Yeah.
What's the whole number part?
2.
2. And what's the fraction part?
1.5.
So you're going to split it like this, and you're going to say from here to here is the 2 inches part, and from here to here is the 1/2 inches part. Remember when we did this before? Now we're going to find the area of each segment. This square right here, what are the dimensions? What is it on the top? 2 what's? What about down the side? 2 what? Inches. So how can I find the area? Well, I just have to do 2 inches multiplied by this part here, right, which is 2 inches. So what's 2 times 2? 4. And because this is a area, what kind of inches is it? Okay. What about this bottom part down here? What's the dimensions across the top like that? It's the same as up here, isn't it? So what are the dimensions? 2 inches. What about this part here? 1/2 inches. What's 2 times 1/2? 1. And then what kind of units is it? Square inch. So how can I find the area of the total? Well, I have to take 4 square inches and add it to 1 square inch. So 4 plus 1 equals 5 what? Square inches. Very good. And that's how we can use the area model. Remember, area model just means we're breaking it up into the whole number part and the fraction part, and then finding the areas of each individual part, because a lot of times that's easier, and then adding them together at the end. Once again, we're first going to measure. Let's measure from top to bottom first. Use your inch ruler and measure it to the nearest quarter inch. So with our ruler we found, and let's label that from here to here is 1 3/4 inches. Okay. Now let's do the same thing. Let's measure from left to right across the top. We can see that it's also 1 3/4 inches from top to bottom. From left to right. So now that we've labeled the dimensions, now we have to break it up into area models, okay? So, is there a whole number part and a fraction part? Yeah, right? So across the top, from here to here, this is the 1 inch part. And from here to here would be the 3/4 inch part. Same thing across the side. From here to here is 1 inch. And from here to here is 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we're basically just splitting it up, and you have experience doing this already. Then we have to find the area of each section. What are the dimensions of this red square? 1 inch by 1 inch. So to find the area, we just do 1 times 1, which is 1 square inch. What about this one over here, right next to it? Down the side, it's 1 inch, right? But what about across the top? 3/4. So it's 1 times 3/4, which is 3/4 square inches. Good. What about this one down here? Down the side, what are the dimensions? 3/4 And then across the top, it's what? 1. So to find the area, we do 3/4 times 1, which is 3/4 square inches. What about this last segment right here? How far, what's the dimension down the side? It's going to be the same as over here, which is 3/4. What about across the top? It's going to be the same as up here, which is 3/4. So what's 3/4 times 3/4? 9/16 square inches. Now to find the total area of the whole rectangle, we just add all of our square inches, right? So we have 1 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 9/16. Well, in order to add, what do we need? A common denominator. What would our common denominator be here? 16. So we keep our 1, but 3/4 is the same as how many 16ths?
12.
Because I have to multiply 4 by 4, so I have to multiply 3 by 4 as well. 3/4 is the same as how many 16ths?
12/16.
And 9/16 is the same as how many 16ths?
9.
Okay. What's 12 plus 12?
24.
Plus 9?
33.
33. So this is 1 and 33/16. Do I have one hole?
Yeah.
Do I have 2 holes?
Yeah.
So what's 1 plus 2 holes?
3.
And how many 16ths are left over?
1 and 6.
So my answer for the area would be 3 and 1/16. What are my units? Square inches.